Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture in a different room.
And we are here with your afternoon news. Hashtag good. Oh, guess that doesn't work. Guess that's in self-isolation as well. Andy, what have you got coming up for us today?
All right, so we're going to kick things off with a little bit of discussion of a guy that the internet just loves us talking about. Not a tall, divisive figure in the pro wrestling industry. Chick Magnet Phil, CM Punk, MMA star Phil Brooks, call him whatever you want to call him. A guy who we will be talking about potentially making a wrestling return until one, he passes away, or two, he actually does return properly to pro wrestling. And I've got a quote here, courtesy of Big Daddy Dave of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. He issued a Wrestling Observer Radio early today, talked about the prospect of Punk maybe wrestling again, as he's prone to doing every now and then. And I'm just going to read this to you word for word. I do know that WWE is pretty negative on the idea of Punk wrestling. More than I thought they would be, but they are. The idea is that Goldberg, Edge, and The Undertaker and people like that, they've got their fair share of guys like that. That's a lot of bitterness, apparently more on WWE's side than Punk's side, and I thought that would be the other way around, but there you go. So at this stage, Punk might be fanning around on backstage every now and then when he decides to bloody show up, but for now, it looks like WWE feel like their Legends quota is more than full, and, you know, I can kind of see their point. That's a lot of crazy old dudes running around at once without throwing Chick Magnet Phil back in the mix, but Punk is Punk. He's the last big one left to pull off. So what do you reckon, Adam Wilborn?
It's a work.
I left my tinfoil hat in the office, so I can't even... I mean, what would I do, actually? Pass it through the computer? There you go, mate. There you go.
Look, it's all a work. He's returning. And this is WWE just sowing the seeds. When have I ever been wrong with predictions like this, aside from literally, I think, this time last week? But anyway, it's quite surprising that, though, isn't it? Considering a lot of people speculate, and there's the whole, he works for Fox, not for WWE sort of thing. But having said all that, you would have thought that the only thing standing in the way, or the main thing, I should say, standing in the way of a CM Punk return is, of course, CM Punk, considering his track record with the company, despite the fact that, yes, he went off and trashed them immediately after leaving them a few years ago. But the amazing thing is, even if CM Punk was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to get back in a wrestling ring and wrestle for you, WWE would be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's kind of, these things always kind of catch me by surprise a little bit, right? Because, yeah, there's some, underlying problems there. And Triple H probably isn't CM Punk's biggest fan, and neither is Vince McMahon. But at the end of the day, if there's money to be made, Vince McMahon is usually more than willing to cut the check. The Ultimate Warrior came back, for goodness sake. So something tells me that someday in the distant future, perhaps, when we're all living on bloody Venus or something, CM Punk is going to waltz out on an episode of Raw, but for now, doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, I think it's just tempered Punk's probably desire to return, considering the fact that if they're pissed off with him now, that if he ever does make the decision to come back and they go, you know what, yeah, we've got a plan for you. He's going to be in the second match at WrestleMania for some mid-card title rather than the main event.
He's going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle. Yeah,
he's going to be on the pre-show. Yeah. Oh goodness me. Right, let's move on to continue talking about WWE, because we reported earlier on today about some of the taping schedule for WrestleMania 36, which of course they're taping the matches for this week. Apparently, though, WWE are not stopping there. They are hard at work trying to tape as many episodes of wrestling as possible. This again comes from Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Observer Radio, basically saying they're trying to tape full episodes of not just Raw and SmackDown, but also NXT. They're trying to film a bunch of content as soon as they can, so they can limit, presumably, the interaction between wrestlers, etc. And Dave Meltzer himself noted that they filmed a bunch of content for NXT at Full Sail yesterday as well.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're really hunkering down for almost a month's worth of programming here. It's kind of unforeseen. I can't remember any situation like this in the past, but then again, they've never had to deal with circumstances like this in the past. So sounds like they're going to film a bunch of matches and just throw them onto random episodes of Raw as and when they need them. This makes a lot of sense. And You know, it's easy to joke about, long-term booking in WWE, but they're actually being forced to plan things out a couple of weeks ahead here, hey? So maybe things will be a little more coherent than usual.
I'm putting my money on them accidentally re-showing the same match 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Different finish, though, because they're going to film 2 finishes to avoid spoilers. I don't know if they're going to do that. I've just made it up. So, yeah, put that on the headline. Maybe we will. Anyway, shall we move over to Ember Moon? Somebody we haven't seen on WWE programming in a long time. Ember Moon was sidelined via injury back in September. It was reported that she'd be out for quite a while. It was an Achilles problem. She then appeared on WWE Backstage and said, look, I'm pretty badly hurt. I'm going to be out for a long time. We're still awaiting an exact word on when exactly she will be back, but she did tweet over the weekend a little selfie of herself here in her home gym saying, getting in that sad at-home Achilles recovery workout. Therapy center is closed, but that doesn't mean I can't rehab. This is my first at-home workout of many. And then she talks about Twitch streaming, which she's apparently doing to pass the time while she's away from the ring. So it's good to hear from Ember at the moment. Obviously, she can't appear on Backstage right now because production has ceased with what's going on in the world. There are no Fox Sports studio shows getting put out there. So somebody I would like to see come back soon, but hopefully, whatever the case, she just takes long enough. She had that bad injury just after the Royal Rumble 2019 as well. Of course, she's had a rotten run of luck. She had a women's title shot last year, SummerSlam. I think it was SummerSlam, but it didn't quite go over as well as many would have expected. She's a very talented performer, but probably someone who, like we kind of say quite often, could benefit from this time away, freshen up, and come back full of fire.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people have been saying recently, haven't they? The silver lining to this awful cloud we are living under right now is that a lot of your favorite wrestlers just have time to hit, whether or not they're injured or not, to heal up, to take some time away, to be a lot less banged up than they are right now with the rigors of the road being what they are. But someone like Ember Moon, I can't wait till she returns. I really feel like she's been underutilized on the main roster. They've given her some god-awful storylines and stuff to work with. So hopefully when she comes back, she can be the Ember Moon that we all know and love from NXT.
Absolutely. Missed that version.
Oh, goodness me. The finish is amazing. Use more of her, WWE. Right, let's move on and talk about something that is on the horizon for wrestling fans. It's a weird thing. I was going to say to look forward to, but it's hard to discuss this when you're talking about the awful events towards the end of Chris Benoit's life. But Viceland, their series Dark Side of the Ring, you may remember we did an interview with the director and one of the producers for it for the first season. That returns this Tuesday, 9 p.m. EST, with a two-part episode all about the Chris Benoit tragedy, of course. The first part, actually, retelling the background events leading up to the Benoit's double murder suicide, is already available to watch on YouTube. And it's interesting. It's morbidly, I suppose, fascinating for wrestling fans. I, for one, can't wait for it. And in the reenactment section of Dark Side of the Ring, Benoit is played by Canadian pro wrestler Tyson Duck. So you may remember he's appeared in WWE quite a lot since 2002. He's in the 2016 Cruiserweight Classic, losing to Zack Sabre Jr. And he's been on Twitter talking about playing this role. He said, "It was an honor to play Benoit. I idolized him growing up. He is the reason I wanted to be a pro wrestler. To be a part of this was surreal, but if you haven't yet, check this out." It's surreal to be talking about this in any terms of anticipation, but it's fascinating stuff, this, Andy.
Yeah, this is one of pro wrestling's great, just horrible cases to really sit and examine and pick apart. And such a formative's not the word, but such an impactful day in pro wrestling history. One that really shook my own fandom to the core and made me question what on earth I was doing watching this thing. But Dark Side of the Ring is a tremendous documentary series. I'm really looking forward to it coming back. The last season was great stuff. Great episodes on Brody. I almost said Brody Lee. Bruiser Brody, Gino Hernandez, all kinds of good stuff. We will actually have a video up later this week. Things we learned from the Dark Side of the Ring episode on Chris Benoit, so stay tuned for that. I'm really looking forward to checking the show out. It's going to be, well, from what I've heard of the first hour, it's a gut-wrenching watch, and you'd expect nothing less from a hard-hitting documentary on such a terrible, terrible, terrible tragedy. Can we move on to something a little bit lighter?
Yes,
Let's
please.
talk about Triple H and his bit. We mentioned this on the first video today, but we thought it warranted its own story. Triple H on the Twitter machine mocking Deontay Wilder. So we finally know the real reason that Triple H lost to Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. It's because his costume was too heavy. So tweeted this thing from ESPN. They had a little highlight of the entrance from WrestleMania 30, which of course was replayed on American TV over the weekend. Triple H quote tweeted that saying, "Just as an FYI, that entrance costume was super heavy, like 45 pounds. My legs were shot. Only reason Daniel beat me." Now, of course, his point is undermined here because he uses more than one exclamation point like a little baby. But at the same time, it's just more good banter from Big Paul, isn't it? We had him on SmackDown the other week, tormenting Michael Cole with a Sharpie and a camera and just insulting him and stuff. Now he's on Twitter just fanning around. He seems to be reveling in life at the moment while the world crumbles around him.
As one of the lads in our wrestling chat pointed out, however, right, so he lost to Daniel Bryan because of that outfit, and yet handily beat Sting despite coming out as the bloody Terminator.
Yeah, doesn't really stack up there, but he did have a little hand from his brothers in that Sting match, I guess. So, yeah.
Yes, we get it, Vince. You beat WCW. We understand now.
Yeah. That was a long way, like an overdue reminder, wasn't it? It was like, yeah, I can't remember the time he beat WCW. Let's do it again. I've said this a few times in recent videos. Well, one of the all-time classics, so bad it's great WrestleMania matches. I have rewatched it already in the run-up to this one, and I will most likely be doing it again.
Unquestionably, but yeah, I think Daniel Bryan might have something to say about the reason why he lost that match.
Yeah.
Imagine if he'd won, all the people who'd gone to WrestleMania 30. Michael Sidgwick, who'd gone to see the final coronation of Daniel Bryan, just seeing, oh, okay, well, I guess we're getting Batista, Randy Orton in the main event.
Yeah. Bit of a bummer, that. Imagine Triple H just beats him in 5 minutes. 18 seconds even. Why not?
Right, well, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dudley Boys have already previewed tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Well worth a listen, that is. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy at
Andy H. Murray. The H, once again, stands for home. Earlier, I was in the dining room. Right now, I'm in the third bedroom. Where will I be tomorrow? Tune in to find out.
What a tease. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.